Picture this. Sicily, 1943. Or did she go further back? 1937. The royal game of Ur was just invented. Let's bring the timeline up just a little bit, actually, shall we? In the year MCM LXXIX, the Happy Meal was invented. Kids' classic anime Doraemon premiered. I'm not sure why I said kids. I should have said all ages. Mobile Suit Gundam is premiered. The very first Mobile Suit Gundam. Bauhaus released their debut single, Bela Lugosi's Dead. VisiCalc becomes the first commercial spreadsheet program. Do you remember VisiCalc? I remember commercials for QuickBooks. From the makers of Quicken. And Avalon Hill released Wizard's Quest. Conveniently in the same box-size format that a lot of Games Workshop's works would later also use. Man, from 79 to 94, games companies were really cooking. They were really cranking out the hits. Wizard's Quest is a little bit of a different fare than what you might think, though, from its name. It's actually a Wizard's Quest. The name of the game actually describes what the game is. That's a crazy concept. No, Wizard's Quest is actually just not a dungeon crawler. For better or for worse, why don't we go over to the Harbinger and check it out? I'm good. I mean, I did the history bit. I made my Golden Girls joke. I'm all right. To the table. Welcome home, brave heroes. I'm Ash. This is AshQuest, and this is Wizard's Quest. Avalon Hill's trademark name for its fantasy treasure hunt game. Interestingly, this is credited as a photo, not as an illustration. So, in 1979, we established proof that this creature, whatever the hell it is, existed. It was attacking this castle, so if anybody knows where this castle was located, I would like to go there and interview the denizens. He might not be attacking, he might just be collecting taxes, which is worse than attack, really. A tax is worse than attack. Photo by Werner Neumeister. Photo granted by Dr. Gerhard. Rights granted. This is a fantastic intro. Let us continue. This is a treasure hunt on the fantastic island of Marnen, and this is a bookcase game. Look, I wasn't kidding when I said it utilized the same box size standard as later Games Workshop games, and it's a great size. A strange and powerful wizard is about to put you to the test. Recover 3 treasures hidden on the fantastic island of Marnen, and it is yours to rule. Sound simple? Well, remember, we told you the wizard was strange. Here, this will be more immersive if I actually grab a wizard from somewhere. We're going to use this wizard from Avalon Hill's Talisman 5th edition. It's completely unrelated to this game in every way. He has already prepared a warm reception for you. An extremely prolific race of orcs with very hungry appetites lives here, and you are never totally safe from their hunting forays, which may burst forth from anywhere at any time. A particularly insidious flying dragon also inhabits the neighborhood. His sole pleasure is flying from place to place until he chances upon some army to devour. This keeps him occupied for just so long, and then he's off again. Unfortunately for you, there is no way to know where he'll land next. And in the ultimate gesture of magnanimity, the wizard has invited your associates to join you in competing for the same prize. But all is not lost. You have a well-equipped force, ably led by a hero and a magical sorcerer to aid you in your quest. The wizard also makes periodic visits himself to different places, bringing with him the spirit of peace and perhaps a few extra men for your army. And if the need arises, you may petition the wizard for assistance, which could end the quest or incur his wrath. With good planning and a little luck, you and your valiant band can battle your way through the dragon, orcs, and competing forces to your treasures and victory. Upon opening the box, we are presented with its mildewy appearance and smell. I've been given ample advice from very kind viewers on the channel with regards to how to deal with this. I'll be throwing in a silica packet for a while, getting some drier sheets. I probably won't address the foxing as I don't think it's going to spread any more than it has, since I do intend to keep this environment moisture free. We are immediately otherwise presented with several bags of chits, and these chits represent the different colors of the players who can participate in this game. It is a game for 2 to 6 players, so we have some very gentle colorations of tokens that all represent the exact same thing, just across these different colors. As such, I will not be going over looking at every single one of them, but I will choose a color and show you every single one of the chits in the bag for that color. Now, as far as preservation and aging goes, I do take advice, so if there was something in my comments about the foxing that seemed amiss, feel free to gently guide me in the comments below. I do very much appreciate any tried and true guidance from my fellow antique collectors. It's not just games that I enjoy, but also older fantasy books, and so I can apply these same techniques for those. So for the color I have chosen, it seems we have 5 circular flag tokens. They're very small, excuse me. A number of square flag tokens that have the same symbol. Doubtless this is our hero and our sorcerer that help lead our forces. A blank chit, which may or may not just be the spare on the card from which it was punched. And doubtless the 3 treasures. It'd be quite the coincidence if these weren't the 3 treasures. It's kind of odd that each player has their own 3 treasures. We also have a number of these faces, full of eyes peering at you from the darkness and sharp teeth, arranged in a wicked grin, ready to pounce on you. We'll find out what they represent. We actually have very few other components. One of my favorite things about these antique games, and something that I try to preserve with brand new games that I get, is getting materials like this. We have these postcards here, allowing you to get on various mailing lists or requesting product catalogs from the time, or even spare game pieces. This one I particularly love, though. If you know someone who has the basic brain power to comprehend Avalon Hill games, then get him to send us this postcard. In turn, you'll be doing yourself a favor. You might pick up a new opponent in your neighborhood, or even one from another city with whom you can play by mail. Did anybody ever have any luck with this system, this play by mail? I'm not talking about using Tabletop Simulator for asynchronous, immediate play. I'm talking about actually putting a postage stamp on the letter, sending it, and getting one back to see what the opponent's move was. I would think that that's a pretty cool experience. I've heard of playing chess that way. I haven't heard of any other game being played that way. Can you imagine playing a game of Warhammer Fantasy Battles that way? You better start when you're born. The game's not going to end until you're 80. You can't waste a single second. We have the absolutely diabolical 6-fold board, and it definitely has some bowing, not because the actual board pieces are bowed, but because of the seams just kind of being stuck in that position that they were in for so long, cramped inside of that box. I don't mind this. This is something that I could fix if I have the initiative to do so at a later time. For now, I just want to show you this beautifully illustrated map with all of these extremely clear separations in the form of these mountain ranges, so conveniently arranged all around this island. We have what are clearly regions that all share the same color, at least across all their locations. The Field of the Fallen, which has the Dreadmoor, the Cattlemead, Dragonhead, Radnor Fen, Sadbury, and Fernham. The Ancient Forest, Sunkendale, Bentwood, the Earthen Pass, the Great Tunnel, Castleton, Fingal, Spruceton. The Crystal Mountains with Brecknock, Flintshire, Windfor, Bloodrock, and Haven, and we have a tiny little centaur here. Just a little magical centaur guy. I really like him. We've got a ton of these little illustrations all over the board that I appreciate for flavor. We have a good old Nessie out here, out in the sea, denoting unexplored territory, perhaps. We have a beautiful compass rose in the northeast corner of the map. To the southwest, the Wizard's Quest logo, and I guess the part number for this map, 8250041. And to the southeast, our number and region, and a helpful sequence of play. As the sharp-eyed or sharp-witted have definitely noticed by now, there are 6 regions, which kind of equates to the pips on a 6-sided die. And there seems to always be exactly 6 areas within each region. We also seem to have 6 distinct castles, and each one of these has its own number associated with it. We've got a 1 here, a 2 here, a 3 here, a 4, a 5, a 6. But lo and behold, we also have a 7 and an 8. We have the Amnon River, separating some regions but providing us with bridges. And we have 2 areas that denote the Great Tunnel. Doubtless you will be able to travel from one the Great Tunnel to the other the Great Tunnel. There's not a whole lot left here. The rulebook is blessedly short and to the point. We could almost turn this video into a complete reading of the rulebook, but we won't do that. We'll hit the intro and some highlights here shortly. I do want to look at the cards, and I want to look at this bag of a few final components. We get 1d6, which is red with gray pips, and it looks to be about 12 mil. Interesting. That has such an old sound. Just a old sound when it hits the board at this size, of this weight. We have wire, just 1 wire tile, which on the other side is a smoke tile. Interesting. Here is our traveling wizard, for whom we are questing for the 3 treasures, and there is the traveling dragon, going around collecting taxes. So these guys are big tiles, but they need to be very visible because they're going to be moving around, influencing things, acting as unbiased third parties, which are still either going to hinder you or help you, but able to hinder or help anybody else. This deck of cards is the petition deck. Doubtless we are petitioning the wizard for help. I find it interesting that he can either help or get really irritated with us and do the opposite of helping. I guess it just depends on what mood he's in. These have the perforations around the edges. It's a telltale sign that they were punched out of a larger sheet, either by the factory, the manufacturer, or by the customer. Let's read a few of these. I give you 6 extra men if you currently have less than 7 pieces, including hero and sorcerer, on the board. Otherwise, you may use this card for an extra attacking campaign. And play this card immediately. I take 1 man away from the men you would receive for your kingdom spaces this turn. I need somebody to clean my chamber pot. And I allow you to make 1 extra attacking campaign. It's like Battle Royale, but the wizard is constantly monitoring everybody's moves and just doing things for his sole entertainment. Is that what's going on here? I give you 1 extra man, but save this card for boat privileges. My favorite out of all of them is this one written with apparently invisible ink. This one's pretty cool. You may send the dragon to the region of your choice, then toss 1 die to determine the territory, and make 1 more toss to see what he gobbles up. This one's also fun. You may move 1 opponent's treasure from its current space on the board to any which does not already contain a treasure. Smelly, smelly, smelly. Wizard's Quest for 2 to 6 players ages 10 and up. Playing time 1.5 to 3 hours. Marnan was a tiny island kingdom located in a lost ocean of the distant past. Long ago, powerful warlords battled each other and the fantastic creatures existing there for the right to reign over Marnan. However, the battles raged for eons and with such fierceness that a great wizard, called Peacemaker, finally intervened. He was aura farming, he did it for the likes, he did it for the clicks. Peacemaker chose not to forcefully deprive the warlords of their competition, but rather channeled it toward a quest which would select the fittest as rightful king of Marnan, thereby ending all bloodshed forever. Peacemaker summoned all the warlords together and gave them each 3 treasures, a crown for authority, a treasure chest for wealth, and a magic ring for power. Ah, that makes sense now. Peacemaker told the warlords to put an identifying mark on each of their treasures. He then took the treasures from each warlord and gave each set to an enemy warlord who was instructed to hide the treasures in the most obscure and treacherous places he could find. Then Peacemaker declared that he would make King of Marnan the first warlord to regain all 3 of his own treasures. Oh, so that's a neat premise. I'm going to give you these treasures, make a mark upon them so they know that they're your treasures. Now, everybody's going to trade treasures and go hide each other's stuff. The object of the game is simple. To win, you must be the first player to regain all 3 of your treasures. Section 3 is the equipment. It's the inventory within the box. There are 6 different types of playing counters representing the creatures, Men, hero, sorcerer, orc, dragon, and wizard. The hero, sorcerer, and men counters are directly controlled by the players, so the men would be our flags. The hero and sorcerer will often be referred to as superpowers, and the men counters just as men. The orcs, dragon, and wizard counters are controlled by the dice. Players have no influence over these counters except through special powers granted by a petition card or by successful battle. The island of Marnan is composed of 8 castles and 6 large regions. Each region is distinguishable by its own name and color. The regions have been further subdivided into 6 territories, and each territory has its own name. There are a total of 36 territories. There are a total of 44 spaces in Marnan. A counter cannot be placed in water or on a bridge. It must be on a space. If a counter's in a region, it must be in one particular territory of the region, which is pretty clear. If you've been playing games long enough to be watching this video and understanding thus far, each one of these is a space. A hero and sorcerer can never occupy the same space at the same time. Playing counters belonging to different players cannot occupy the same space at the same time either. Orc counters also cannot occupy the same space as a player's counters at the same time. The dragon and wizard counters may share a space with each other and with any playing counters. So the dragon and the wizard get special rules. They get to occupy wherever they want, because after all, what are you going to do? After all, who's going to argue? You didn't think about that, did you? This is the 3rd edition of the rules, by the way, and this edition was published in 1980. The 2 spaces, Earthen Pass and Marl's Gate, which would be here and here, are considered adjacent because they are linked by the Great Tunnel. A space is considered occupied if at least 1 man, orc, hero, or sorcerer is in the space, and it's unoccupied if it's empty or if it's just a treasure. Wizard, dragon, or combination of the three in the space. Each player will choose a colored set of playing pieces. If at any time a player or the orcs run out of counters, use an unused set or make additional counters. Or just make additional counters, I love it. If you could run out. If you do, just start pulling in proxies. Men or orc counters can never run out. Each player rolls 2 dice. The player with the high toss takes his turn to set up first. Oh, there was supposed to be a white die in here. I guess I just have one die. I'll have to proxy the other. That's seriously not going to be a problem. I do wish I had the same size die, but we are back to being playable. Man, that's such a difference. We are literally done with the entire first page of the rules. I'm going to go over board setup really quick. Beginning with the first player, each player in turn places one of his men in an unoccupied castle space. Then 2 orcs are placed in each of the remaining unoccupied castle spaces. 2 orcs are placed in 2 territories in each region using the following procedure, and we're going to skip the procedure. 1 man is placed in all the remaining unoccupied territories using the following procedure. So it seems like this is going to be a bit like Risk, fantasy Risk. After all spaces have been filled, players hide the 3 treasures of one opponent. Each player passes his 3 treasures to the player on his left, and starting with the first player, each player in turn selects 1 treasure and places it face down in any castle space except that occupied by the treasure's owner. So your treasures are going to be guarded by orcs. No 2 treasures may ever be in the same space at the same time, even if a petition card allows a treasure to be moved. Upon conclusion of treasure placement, each player in turn, beginning with the first player, places 10 men in any of the spaces he already occupies. All 10 are placed at the same time. Anytime a player receives 2 or more men to place on the board for any reason, he may substitute either the hero or sorcerer for 2 men, or substitute both for 4 men. So you can put 10 men down, or 6 men and the hero and the sorcerer, or 8 men and the hero, or 8 men and the sorcerer. We're at the sequence of play now. The first sequence, each turn is composed of 5 phases, which must be performed in the exact sequence presented below. Turns continue in this way until 1 player wins. First is the orc phase. First up in the orc phase is orc generation, then orc frenzy, then orc placement. Then there is the dragon attack phase. Then there is the wizard prosper phase. Then there is the first player determination phase. Then there is the individual player phase, which is composed of petition card selection and play, reinforcement, and attack campaign. The remainder of this page explains the orc phase, the dragon attack phase, and the wizard prosper phase, as well as the first player and individual player phases, with petition card selection, reinforcements, attack campaign, attacking the dragon or wizard, and capture of treasure taking up the bulk of page 3. Page 3 ends with section 11, which is battle resolution, and that continues on into page 4 until we get to section 12, special setup for 2 players, and optional treasure placement. A 4th worthless or blank treasure is included with each player's other treasures. That makes that blank tile make perfect sense now. I feel like somebody who's played this game originally, like when they were a kid, probably commented that already, and now I've gotten to this point explaining it to me. If that's you, keep your comment down there, but go ahead and edit it and be like, never mind. That's always fun. I want to express an appreciation for those comments that are more stream of consciousness, like you're commenting as you're watching the video. I happen to like those very much. They really give me insight as to kind of like how the video is going and how engaging it is for the person commenting. This game was designed by Garrett J. Donner. That's not a name I recognize. It was also developed by Richard Hamblin and Mick Uhl. That name I do recognize. He was one of the prominent designers in Magic Realm. Right here, Ash. That name I do recognize. He designed Magic Realm. Here are some examples of battle resolution, and just in case you need any replacement parts, you can get a current replacement parts price list, sending a self-addressed and stamped envelope to the parts department at Avalon Hill. Please don't actually try that. We've got 2 more pages left in this rulebook. The general. Now that you know how to play the game, the next problem is probably who to play it with. We can help you with that problem and many others only through your subscription to our bi-monthly gaming journal, The General. Whatever happened to The General? What happened to Board Game Company's publications? I mean, I'm pretty sure White Dwarf is still going, right? Avalon Hill, I'm more than certain you would have a healthy amount of subscribers if you chose to come out with some kind of newsletter. A physical one, not a digital one, because that's probably extremely impractical. But just look to the past for ideas on how to run such a thing. This would have advertising, contests, tactics and strategy, history, game design, questions answered. Product reviews, what's happening, value. Value coupons to be applied against the cost of postage when purchasing games directly from Avalon Hill. The 6th page is a play summary page, giving us the setup, the turn of the orcs, turn of the dragon, peacemaker, the players, treasure rewards, and die ranges. All in all, this does seem like a pretty simple game, and it also seems like it would be extremely possible to just scan and reprint this rulebook. I would normally not want to do that sort of thing, but I think in this case it might be actually necessary. Probably have to petition my viewers, the wizards watching this video, if that would be a good idea due to things that I am probably ignorant about, such as paper acidity and any other challenges of which I am not aware. Based on what I know about this game alone, just from its unboxing here today and my first impressions, I can tell you that I would definitely keep it and try to play it. Fantasy Risk with Wizards and Dragons sounds like a really good time to me, especially if it's a little bit simpler and a little less convoluted and a little less lengthy and grindy than Risk. And if that opinion sounds completely unwarranted, trust me, it is only entirely based on my brother and I playing Risk with the wrong rules because we misunderstood them when we were kids for probably 2 years before we realized that we were playing it wrong. Spoiler alert, the way that you're actually supposed to play it was more boring than how we were playing it. That's Wizard's Quest in a nutshell. Do you have a better suggestion for a fantasy Risk? You'll have to let me know in the comments below, and you'll have to comment what you thought of this overall presentation. I will see you again in the near future, kind heroes. I thank you very much for your attention. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. So until next time, I bid you farewell for now, and onward.